Hi guys. All right, so now we're going to look at what does it mean to compare fractions. So we should have all of our little fraction strips made, right? And now you're going to use those to compare because we've learned that fractions, right, are just a piece of the whole. Like this pizza, okay, one of the pieces here has been taken. There are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the other piece was number 8. So there were 8 pieces, one of them is gone, so 1/8 was the fraction. Hey, you can see we learned how to use these in words, numbers, and pictures. Okay, so you can see these 2 pieces, so we call those halves. So this is considered 1/2 or 1 out of 2 equal parts. This is what it would look like on a fraction circle, and this is how you would write it in numbers 1/2. Okay, when we're comparing fractions, you're going to take different types of fractions like this one, which is 5/8, and this one, which is 3/8, and then you're going to decide which one is bigger. And we can think of it like an alligator. An alligator eats the bigger number. Okay, you might have remembered that with numbers, with that the alligator eats the bigger number. Same thing with fractions. Okay, so these have the same denominator. They both have 8, so you can easily see from the picture, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, but this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so obviously 5/8 is the bigger number, so the alligator is eating the 5/8. Okay, here you can see these have different denominators, 8 and 4, and different numerators, 5 and 3. Okay, so these you're going to have to look at a little bit closer, okay, and really look at the picture. Just because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't necessarily mean it's bigger, because this only has 3, but when you look at the picture, in fractions, a lot of time, the smaller the denominator, the bigger the fraction is going to be, because 4 pieces isn't as many pieces as 8 pieces, right? So you need more on your numerator to make the denominator bigger. And actually, as you can see, 3/4 is bigger than 5/8. So we should be eating the 3/4, even though the 3 and the 4 are smaller than the 5 and the 8. So we're going to talk about that, but that's why it's good to have your little fraction strip so you can see, like, okay, if I have 1, 2, 3 of my 4 pieces, right, versus my 8, right, if you have 5 of the 8s, right, you could compare on your fraction strips as well. All right, so there is a little video here that you can watch that kind of explains it a little bit more. It's kind of a cute video that shows the alligator eating and deciding which fraction to eat. Okay, I'm going to show you my thinking of how I'm going to use these fraction pieces. So I have 1/2, right? Okay, this is a unit fraction. This is what we're going to call this. It's called a unit fraction because 1/2, right, is just one piece. Okay, so 1 is what we call a unit. Where if you have more than 1, like here I have 2/4. So the numerator is 2. That means it's a non-unit fraction because there's more than one piece. If it was just 1/4, that's a unit fraction because there's just one piece again. Okay, but there's 2/4, and here I have 1/2. And when I look at those next to each other and I compare them, they are actually the same. 1/2 is the same as 2/4. One isn't bigger than the other. Okay, they both end up being the same size. So this is where I'm going to put an equal sign because they are equivalent. Well, let's look at another one. Let's try this one. Okay, oh, this is what it looks like in your book. This is 1/2, but this right here is 1/4. This doesn't say 2/4 like my model did. This is 1/2 again. So you can draw that on here. You would draw it. Here's half and here's half. So I'm just going to color in this part. This is the half. And then here it's 4. So I would need to draw how I was able to use it on our fraction strips. So I folded in half and then I took each of these in half. And this says to use just one of the 4. So I don't need these other ones. So I've just got 1/4 here. So I'm going to color this one in. So I've got 1/2 versus 1/4. Which one's bigger? 1/2 or 1/4? Yeah, definitely 1/2 is bigger, right? Even though the 4, the denominator 4 is a bigger number, remember I told you a lot of times in fractions, it ends up being the smaller denominator that normally ends up being bigger when you, especially when you have a unit fraction like this. Okay, so you can use your fraction strips to help you, and then you can also show me how you use your fraction strips by drawing that here. Okay, so here's a better way to see how they decided to show that. And did you notice here that these have the same numerator but different denominators? Okay, that can be helpful sometimes when you are comparing. Okay, is looking to see if you have the same numerator or if the same denominator is there. So I'm going to have you practice. Okay, this is in your book on page 227. Again, if that's easier for you to draw it there, definitely you can go ahead and then show me your thinking here. So here's number 1 that we just did together. I'm going to want you to show me your thinking here. Okay, there is 2, 3, and 4. Here is a can do that you can do. Okay, and then I want you to show your thinking here and explain by making the bars here or kind of just sharing your own thinking of how did you decide which one is the greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, go ahead and reflect. And if you would like, here is a special little trick that you can use that is the butterfly effect. You can multiply across, okay, the numerator times the denominator, and then this numerator times the denominator. It's like 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 is bigger than 8, so you know that 3/4 is bigger than 2/6. So it's just a little trick. Okay, if this is confusing to you, don't worry about it. This is definitely something you'll probably learn in a later grade, but I thought I would just throw that out there if you want, because I have these cute little butterflies here that if you want to, these are little can-dos, and if you want to print them out and put them up in your house or something, you could always do that as well. So these are just cute little butterflies. These are can-dos. You don't have to do all these. And then there's an extension you can finish at the end. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.